If I know the product is working well, then I am supposed to remove the old product, then I put a new product which works well. So there's one product which you can lower so that you can also promote the new product which works for the farmers. So if the products receive so many complaints from the farmers, you have to first lower it down and it sells and also advertising. So you focus on another product. If someone complains about the product and says the insects kept on moving, then and the person complains about the product twice, then what happens? You have to look for what can work best. So I cannot only depend on one product. So I have to also to buy another product. If I was buying two for the other one, and then I have to buy one until I discover a product which can work for the farmer. Sometimes do the farmers complain, yet the problem is on them. For you to stop using certain products, which percentage of complaint do you have to receive to stop purchasing or stocking a certain product? So, because if two people out of 100 complain, would you stop bringing the product? Or what percentage do you use to stop purchasing the product? If I was buying five, let me buy two. Only for those people who are still rigid about the product and they feel like they have to purchase it. So because I'm a farmer, also the time I've been with the farmers, it is long. So in this district, I've spent there over 10 years. And there are some specific farmers, they use specific products. So if they complain, then you have to know. And sometimes you recommend them some new products. But sometimes they say, oh, the new product you recommended me is working. If they say it is better than the other one, then you have to bring that product. Even these new farmers usually also inquire about this, about great inquiry from the old farmers. So if the best farmer complains about the product, it may kill the whole market because he is a reference, he is the guide to the new farmers. If like five people complain about the product, yet you have given them clear directions of how to use. sometimes we give the correct measurements to the farmers, but they come reporting that the insects, all the bugs still remain as if there was no change, as if there was no chemical sprayed on them. Sometimes even though they are using the same product, there is no change. So you have to change a product from another company to see. So in that way, we find ourselves trying less of that product which is not working and starting to purchase a new product which can work for the people. Even though it is a seed, if somebody complains about the seed, it will kill the whole market and they will complain about the seed. So what you do, you mix, you give some seeds from one product or from one supplier and also other seeds from another supplier so that they can grow. How do you differentiate the things you are going to buy on cash and things you have to buy on credit? There are some companies which always hold cash, which request cash, even though you are the best customer. So if we mainly focus on those products which are marketable, and we try to less focus on the products which are not on the market so much. So we focus on this company, people like this kind of product. So those companies which need their cash immediately, you only purchase those products which are marketable. Uh, but those people who give on credit, then you can take some of their products which are not really good on the market. Also, it helps them because it helps to market their products. How do you manage the customers who want things on credit yet their payment is poor? Which part is the most difficult for the people who want things on credit yet even their payment is poor? The problem that we have find hardest is sometimes you may give things on credit to the farmer, but you don't know where they reside. We are in town, but people come from different areas and local areas. Sometimes you want to give them things, but you don't know where they reside or stay. Sometimes you may give them on credit, but sometimes even they change the shop the next time when they are buying. Even women pay better than men. Men don't usually pay, but women are really good in business. Women look for the money and they pay. The problem is that we don't know where they stay. Do you give credit to those people who are wholesalers in the different areas, or you give credit to those people who are selling to the farmers, basically to the farmers? Which people like most to take things on credit? Those people who are taking in wholesale. Sometimes they want to take in bulk and they on credit and they bring cash. Yet also you are the one who took also on credit, yet you need to pay your bosses. Usually the farmers have some little money. When it fails, they say, just give me some products. When I get money, I'll pay back. Even they borrow some places and then they bring back the money. To give credit to someone, what do you depend on? In case it is a farmer or someone having a shop, what do you depend on to give credit to that person? There's some wholesalers who are really deep in the village. But you see them every 3 days, they come to pick the product. And sometimes they say, I was taking 2 boxes, but what if you give me three? Because even the transport is high. Then you offer to them. But women usually, they are easy, but men, it is not easy. Sometimes even they say, the car is too big, I cannot put small things into the car. The transport cost will be high. And most of them are trustworthy. They take and also within 2 days they return the money. Your payment to the suppliers, how do you manage? How do you deal with it? Sometimes you pay in time, or sometimes you fail to make it in time. Sometimes you have wrangles with your suppliers. Yeah, those things happen always, but make sure that you have to pay on time. If the supplier gives you products for 20 million, you make sure at least every week you can give him 4 million. Because to give you another product, you have to clear the past. You have to make sure that every week you have at least to deposit something on his account. There are some companies which can even add credit, yet you have a date with them who can give you additional products on credit, yet you have already a running credit within their system. If you make some little payments, usually companies they promote that product, they promote that system, but you may find that as buyers we have to check and also be cautious to enter into such deals. But there are some people who easily engage in such kind of business. But me as a person, I first need to clear the past, and then I can order the next part. So I only ask for the things which I can clear within 1 month, then I can make a next order. According to you, on the issue of credit, the time of repayment should be how long? On this question, it is better to follow it in during the season because that time the products are easily sold and bought. But out of the season, things are already stuck in the stores. All the farmers are in the market and they're in the farms, and also the products are out of the shop. They are easily bought. What problem do you usually have with the farmers? Usually I have problems visiting these farmers because I usually don't have time. Yet I've spent 2 years with them. Don't you find any problems with people saying about the cost of the product? That usually happens when the prices also have gone up. You have to explain to the farmers really, really very hard, and sometimes you find yourself losing some of them. Every time when the prices increase, we lose some of the customers, and also it is not easy to explain to them and they understand. And sometimes they go to other customers or other shops which shops have old stock. Your customers, I can say there are 50 buyers and 50 farmers. No, it is not so. My farmers who I supply, they are 70, and then those buyers who buy like in wholesale, they are 30%. So according to the 70% of the people who buy, do they come with their money or they come to get products on credit? 60% usually come with cash. Usually 10 they come to take things on credit. Have you ever worked with the government in supplying them your products? I've never worked with any government program. You don't know any problem with the government programs or anything? I don't know anything. How do you deal usually with the dry season? Even in the dry season, we are not like so idle that we are just resting. Also, that is the time we are thinking, also planning that this has been selling much, so we'll restock it much. And also check the stores and check the improvements that are needed. The places which need to be improved, which do need to be enlarged. Also, that is the time we check on them. So, do you mean that during your off season, it is the time you plan for the season? Yes, it is the time when I'm planning for the new season. Do you provide any additional services to the farmers? Sometimes I work with other farmers in other districts like Jinja. So sometimes I advise them maybe try this product. Sometimes they're farming tomatoes. Sometimes we advise them to maybe farm onions. If it fails this season, let's try at least cabbages. And so you find that you have this customer every time and it's giving you money continuously. So you always think for them. Sometimes you find that whatever they're farming is losing the market. Sometimes even we ask, how is their soil? Is it laterite? Is it rocky? Sometimes even advise them to do the beans, even though it needs more money. That is how we maintain them being our customers. There are some customers or farmers who even wait for you, even though the other shops are open, but he still waits for you. Even sometimes some people they like the way you are operating. Sometimes you tell them come and learn from me. Also, these people when they learn from you, they become your customers too because they buy things from you. How do you handle the people who ask about how to use the product or the chemicals? Before I teach any of my farmers, I have to inquire from the person who is the supplier. He has to explain to me how it works. Even I have to study this product even more than the way he explained. So when I give it to the customer, I know exactly what I'm giving out. So you give time to that person to explain to you. Do you have any records where you keep information about your customers? Do you have a database of your customers? I usually have problem with that. I have that weakness. Even if I put save the number on my phone, that is where I stop. Sometimes you are busy. It's not easy to collect that information. But I have children. Maybe I can assign some of them to do that kind of job. But it is better when it is off season. So does it mean that you don't have anywhere where you store the names of your customers or the information of your customers, like on WhatsApp? So don't you have any place where you keep your contacts and call them that your product has arrived? I usually have some strategic contacts of some people in some places. If I get one number of one region, if I call that person, I know that region is already covered. And there are some customers who I know if there is a new product, I first test with them. I just call them and tell them there's a new product. So if he finds out that it worked in his garden, then everyone will be directed to my shop. And there is a law which governs products, which is called 2080 rule. Do you know about it? Which states that if you get the 20, also the 80 is yours. Also, does that apply to you? That if you get the 20, also you have the rest. Yes, it applies. Even some people, they say, oh, you are the one who has the number of this person. Please call. Sometimes even when the new things arrive, usually give them things for free. Even when any products come like new seeds, also that is our target people we focus on to deliver. So we really have to give the best product which can really work for them. Do you have any channels which you use for your business? Gezanga, like Facebook account or WhatsApp or Twitter? Do you have any channel you use for your business? No. Why? I don't know why. Maybe it is my personality, which is not so much in social media. Which social media accounts do you usually use or mobile application you use on your phone? I don't have any of those or which I use. Can we say you are a person not into the digital world? I'm not so much conversant about this technology. How do you feel if these companies did develop an app where they can connect the farmers to you? Yet they can pick the things for themselves. How do you say about that? If this project is amended or established. Would you like to also to partake in this project? We would like that program because it helps us also because you sensitize those people about the program. So you find that on my side I explained very little because the suppliers themselves are the ones who have the most of the idea about their products. So people can easily order the products because they have heard already. So your explanation is very little to, to this product. So even explaining does not burden because he already heard about the information. When you look at this project or social media or connecting, it really has an expense where the farmer has to buy a phone, also internet, and always be online. Do you think farmers can really cope up with this? Do you think it can really help the farmer? Usually, communication through the radios really help the farmers and reach the farmers at most. Usually, also the communications that are the advertisements that are passed through the radio really help a lot. And those who are using TikTok, they are the less. So, but what we find that the farmers, what they listen on the radio during the weekend, that is what they buy on Monday. Even they come advertising about the drug and they say it is working very well, yet they have never used it. So gamba kyalibadde kya muwendo nnyo okusanga radio okusinga emikutu egya social media nga WhatsApp, TikTok. Nti usually there's a problem with that because there is a boss and also there is a farmer. The boss orders the farmer to do the farming. So the boss may hear information from TikTok, but when he orders the farmer to do, the farmer may say this product cannot really work. It does not work because for him, he listened from the radio. So this person really has to first listen for himself, and he may say that they cheated you, what, and so on. Even you can buy some things and you can reject to plant what you even have purchased. So really these people who are are the farmers who are farming these gardens. Really, they are more into radio. So usually these farming programs, they happen on Saturday and Sunday. So even though you have never used the product or you have ever used the product, you have to make sure that you make the person like the product. So you find even farmers competing and also showing off to other farmers. You don't have this product. So usually these farmers, they force us to bring the products on the market. So sometimes even they force us to bring the products which don't even work. So if they don't work, they don't come back. So what they see on the TV is what they come to ask for us. Sometimes even they can talk about the product like maize as if they know about it. It is just they have never even used the product because it was just an advert on the radio. So you have really to increase radio advertising. So the radio will explain most of the things, but for us we can just emphasize what is already. And the only problem will be only during harvest. The stories that will come and appear afterwards. Do you have any problem reaching out to farmers who are deep in the villages? Or do you usually have such kind of people? Usually I don't have really that time to meet those farmers. Sometimes the problem is time or business. Even sometimes the roads are poor. Give me free problems which hinder you to reach the farmers deep where they are. The problem is that when I try to visit the farmers, when I close my shop to visit them, it means I'm not working that day. Sometimes it's better even to go to visit them to show them how they plant so that even if the seed fails to come out, you are the one who was together with the farmer in the garden planting. If you find the products you have been selling is substandard, when it is faulty, how do you deal with it? Also, sometimes we have some agronomists from the companies or the suppliers. Sometimes even they reach to the farmers. If they find the product is not working, they exchange the product. Sometimes even they give new products, also new seeds to the farmers. Usually this happens with the seeds, but not usually in the chemicals. Sometimes it usually happens on the seeds. Sometimes they say return the tins of the seeds so that they can replace. Who bears the cost of the returned seeds? Is it you, the farmer, or the distributor? Indeed, it is the distributor. I just deliver the complaint to the supplier who brought the products. So sometimes I visit this farmer to check where was the problem. And usually, most of the times, the company provides the new seeds to the farmer because you want to maintain the customer. Because only one customer can kill the whole market. So if it is abnormal, it is just abrupt, we have to know where was the problem. Have you ever obtained a customer who complains about everything? Always, we have many of them. How do you handle these customers? How you know that they are liars, pretty liars, if they come back the next day, the day before they bought the seeds? Sometimes we explain to them deeply and deeply more, and then they discover the problem was on their side. Sometimes they put a lot of fertilizers on the seed bed, and finally they find that uh, the crop yield failed. So they find it was their problem. We tried to inquire from them how did they use the product. So sometimes you explain to them the way they are handling the products. As you continue to explain to them, they find the problems was on their side, and you find that they can come back and buy the products again. If such mistake happens, is it you or the distributor changes? Sometimes the farmers they come and they say this product failed to work, and you ask them how did they use the product, and he says I used 10 liters. Yet you gave him the chemicals for 5 liters. That time you announced to him that the problem was on his side. But you cannot just tell the customer that you bring back then I'll refund. But you have to first identify where was the error. You have to identify where was the problem. So he explains. From the explanation, you can identify the problems. So when this person returns, he's able to look for another money and then he's able to come back. I've ever found a customer who come like ambulances, while they have red flags on them. They either say, either give me my money or you take back your medicine. So how do you deal with those customers? Sometimes we just tell them, please leave your number, we shall call you back. So the time they come back when the fire is off, that time you have to explain clearly and identify where the problem was. Sometimes they are our people, so sometimes we have to exchange the. There's some products which the company cannot take back, so sometimes we just exchange with our people. So that keep this relationship moving on. How is the competition with your neighbor? How do you compete with your neighbor? Is it by price or there is something else? And the only thing is that I give a farmer my time. They tell you their stories and then we plan together. Because if you give them the best product, they always bring another person and they refer you to Tina's shop always. So you cannot compete with the person who brings other people. So what is most important is our relationship with our customers. Our relationship with the farmers. The way you handle your customers really matters most. Even though you have a lot of money, but if you don't have customers, if the relationship is poor, your stock will always be full in your shop. So even though you have so many, but if you don't handle them well, they can all depart away from you. So that is how I have maintained my relationship, my position in the marketplace while I have so many competitors around. Apart from any product, which other expense always consumes a lot of your profits? Usually, the problem which cuts off my profits is usually the people who have to lift the stock from the trucks also to the store, also the rent, also some losses, also the returned stock, also the stock which cannot be bought, also the spoiled products. So sometimes even you calculate the profits that you have, you may find that all the profits are covering the credits. In your business, there are some other areas which you have not inquired about, which you really need us to focus on more, or where you find problems. I've not spoken on all the problems. Most of the problems have been covered. As Tina Farmers Center, what do you recommend us to improve? Do you see any place where we are lacking? As the EDG company, I've started working with you this year. Sometimes I really wanted your products, but I could not find a place where to get them.